Good morning. The impact of Operation Sindoor on the foreign policies of India and Pakistan has not been discussed, something that I will do now. In my video today, I'll explain how Pakistan's foreign policy has got a major boost because of Operation Sindoor, and in a separate video tomorrow, I will explain how India's foreign policy has taken a major knock because of this operation. Now, what happened in this 4-day operation is the first thing that we need to know. So, two big things happened. First is that the world came to the assessment that Pakistan military in a conventional war had emerged as a peer competitor of the Indian military, and this was a big thing. Because until now, the thinking in the world was that Indian military was superior to Pakistan military. That thinking was destroyed. And the second was that the world saw that China, a great power, came in open support of Pakistan, the type of support that the Indian military did not get from the friendly nations of Russia and America. And this I will explain. We know that Pakistan had the advantage of the Bedu constellation, satellites constellation for real-time surveillance, which it seems that the Indian military did not get either from America or from Russia, their GPS or GLONASS of Russia. And the reason why I say that is that in the Indian Express of June 21, there is a news that clearly says that the Indian military, one of the things it has learned post Sindoor is how to get real-time surveillance for its military actions through commercial satellite companies. And they have done a deal with the American commercial satellite company. So this is a big thing, and it could also be interpreted as neither Russia nor America was keen to support India militarily against Pakistan in this Operation Sindoor. This is the way it has to be assessed. Now, when I say that Pakistan's foreign policy has got a major boost, what it means is that all the three great powers of the world today, which is America, China and Russia, they want close ties with Pakistan. Now this has implications for India, for the region, which I will explain in the end. But first let me break down how this has happened. So let me start with a bit of a background for the viewers. And the background is that most are aware that today in the world there are three great powers, which is Russia, China and America. When we talk of a great power, we are talking of two characteristics of that nation. One is that a great power is one which cannot be pressurized or intimidated by any nation of the world. For example, we have seen President Trump. He has failed miserably in trying to pressurize either China or Russia because both are great powers. And the second characteristic of a great power is that it can exercise influence anywhere in the world, and to do that, a great power always identifies one or two countries as a fulcrum in a particular region through which it exercises influence in the region to further its foreign policy goals. Now it seems that in Eurasia, all the three great powers have identified two such fulcrum nations, and they are Afghanistan and Iran, and Pakistan has borders with both, and hence the importance of Pakistan. Now I'll explain this in a while, but the other background that needs to be kept in mind is that Pakistan has a unique foreign policy, how it is run. Until it did the nuclear tests in May 1998, the Pakistan Army was the sole authority or had the sole responsibility of the nation's security and defense. But after the nuclear test, the then Army Chief General Jahangir Karamat, he sent a note to Pakistan Foreign Office saying that Pakistan was now a nuclear weapon state, and hence Pakistan Army will have a say, if not total control, of Pakistan's foreign policy. And all this has been written in an excellent book called Eating Grass by Brigadier Firoz Hassan Khan. So the point to make here is that when Asim Munir has been elevated from being a general to a five-star field marshal, what it means for the world is that he is that man to talk to for Pakistan's security, Pakistan's geopolitics, its defense, and its foreign policy. And I will explain how this has happened in a while. Now, another background thing that needs to be understood very clearly is that a successful foreign policy of any nation must pay special attention to its geography, the nation's geography, because it is the geography that dictates geopolitics that translates into foreign policy. Having said all that, let me now talk about the two fulcrum nations that I mentioned. Let me start with Afghanistan. As I said, all the three great powers, for different reasons, they have an interest in Afghanistan, and because Pakistan happens to have a border with Afghanistan, its neighbor, so Pakistan's profile has gone up. Why? Because let's take the great powers one by one. As far as as far as America is concerned, America was in Afghanistan for 20 years, from 2001 to 2021. It spent over $8 trillion, plenty of lives lost. Why? Because it wanted stability in Afghanistan and it failed. And now that realization has come that if you want stability in Afghanistan, then it has to be through Pakistan. Pakistan has to help both in the stability and the security of Afghanistan. What this means is that when we talk of stability, that any rebels or terrorists or whatever name you may give them, no great power wants that Afghanistan should become a sanctuary of that. And in that, Pakistan can help a lot. And this is the reason that recently on the 25th of July, a first conference of its kind was held in Islamabad of the defense chiefs, where Field Marshal Asim Munir was there and the US CENTCOM commander General Michael Kurel was there, and there were four Central Asian republics which border Afghanistan. So these Central Asian republics, America and Pakistan, in Pakistan, obviously the key thing that they would be talking about is counter-terror operations and how to stabilize Afghanistan. Then another interest of the Americans in Afghanistan is that because they have failed and they have left Afghanistan now, they still need some sort of a foothold there. And they believe that can be established in some way through Pakistan. And then of course we now know that Pakistan and America, they have struck a major oil deal. And we know that President Trump, he is very happy. He is a deal maker. Whenever a deal is made, he becomes very excited about it, which is why Trump says that Pakistan now is a great country. So the point to make here is that all these terror operations which are being planned with Pakistan would only have been because the Americans, if the Americans believed that Pakistan can help in getting rid of terror and not being a state which sponsors terror. So the Indian narrative of Pakistan being a sponsor of terror obviously has not been bought by the Americans. That is one point. Second is, when Trump invited Asim Munir for lunch in the White House, he actually had a lot of things to discuss with him, because as I said, he is that one-stop shop for Pakistan. They would have obviously discussed Iran, Afghanistan, Middle East, Operation Sindoor, the oil deal, and how America can have a foothold in Afghanistan to have a say in Eurasia. All this would have been discussed, and Asim Munir is the man who would have discussed Pakistan's security, defense, geopolitics, and its foreign policy. And I have no doubts that China would not have had any problems in Asim Munir giving all this assessment or talking with President Trump, and there are two reasons for that. One is that the Chinese thinking is very different. Chinese always look at a big picture, they're always looking at cooperation, they don't believe in interfering in any nation's foreign policy, and this is the reason that President Xi Jinping, he initiated the concept of global civilization initiative. No interference. Also, the second thing is that because of the close ties between China and Pakistan, it is very obvious that what all transpired between Asim Munir and Trump in the White House, or whatever is going on with the Americans, all that feedback would have been given without any deletions to the Chinese. So Chinese actually have no problem with the whole thing. So this is the interest of America in Pakistan as far as Afghanistan is concerned, and it's a big thing. Now, let's go to the other two big powers, great powers. Russia. Russia again has the same issue. Russia's underbelly is the Central Asian republics. It does not want any rebels or any terrorists to be in and out of Afghanistan. So therefore it has a huge interest in Pakistan. So for all the talk that Russians are a close friend, the point is that today India and Russia are growing apart. There should be no doubt about it, and it has been happening progressively because both Russia and Pakistan have been doing joint counter-terror exercises annually starting 2016, and the exercise is called Exercise Friendship. Then the Russians also have high-level contacts with Pakistan, and they are also thinking of how to have a rail and road link connecting Russia through the Central Asian republics to Pakistan. And talks are also going on, but this of course will take time, how to get a natural gas pipeline from Russia to Pakistan. Now, coming to China, the third great power, its interest in Afghanistan. Again, very obvious, it does not want any export of terror to Xinjiang through the Wakha border, and it has huge investments that it has made in the economic field in the minerals of Afghanistan. So it has huge economic interest there. And then the two countries, which is Afghanistan and China, they signed a MOU in 2016 for the Belt and Road Initiative, and the Chinese are very keen that with the help of Pakistan, the BRI should get extended northward to Afghanistan and then travels all the way to the Central Asian republics. So that is what they are also looking at. This is the reason that Afghanistan is today a member of the AIIB, which is the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, the bank which is headquarters in Beijing, and which is supposed to fund the Belt and Road Initiative. So as far as Afghanistan is concerned and the importance of Pakistan, for all the three great powers, for stability in Afghanistan is concerned, Pakistan becomes extremely important. Let me move to the other fulcrum nation that I said, Iran. Now, as far as Iran is concerned, we recently saw the war, which I had said much earlier that Iran cannot be defeated on the battlefield, and Iran came out victorious. And what we saw in that brief war was that Iran actually controls, not only has a major influence in Middle East or what we call West Asia, it controls two major choke points. The one is the Strait of Hormuz that brings the oil, the Persian Gulf oil. It controls that directly, and through its proxy, the Houthis in Yemen, we saw that they can control also all the European trade coming from Europe to the Mediterranean to the Red Sea, and then coming to the Strait of Bab el-Mandeb into the Western Indian Ocean region. To take the whole argument further, we also know that as far as China is concerned, it has a very good foothold in the shape of a planned PLA Navy base in Djibouti. And I have done a video on this separately as to how China and Pakistan, with the help of Iran today, are in a very good position to control, to bring stability to the Western Indian Ocean region. Now, when we look at Iran, Iran has the backing of the two great powers, which is Russia and China. Look at China, its relations with China. First of all, Iran is a member of full member of both BRICS and SCO. Then it signed a 25 years deal, which is an investment deal in 2021 with China, where the China will invest 400 billion in Iran. And Iran obviously is the largest importer of Iran oil to China. Then Iran is a member of the Belt and Road Initiative. So all those investments will come from China to Iran. Look at Russia. Russia also has a special relationship with Iran, and they are the biggest arms exporters to Iran. Then they are helping Iran in the nuclear program, the peaceful nuclear program, the nuclear reactors. Then we know in January 2025 this year, the Iranian president was in Moscow, where the two countries signed a 20 years agreement for cooperation. Then we know that Iran has a free trade agreement with the EU countries, all the countries which are the underbelly of Russia. Then we also know that the Russians are looking at the north-south transport corridor, which is Russia going to the Indian Ocean through Iran and giving an extension to that to Pakistan as well. Now, as far as Iran and Pakistan are concerned, they have their relationship has solidified. Pakistan fully supported Iran in this recent war between Iran and Israel, and it was obviously noticed very much in Iran. And we know that next week the Iranian president is visiting Pakistan, so the two countries will come closer despite the differences. The differences obviously are there on Baluchistan as well as on religious ground. But that notwithstanding, when they look at the big picture, all these countries realize. What are these countries I'm talking of? I'm talking of Pakistan, Iran, China and Russia. That they are prominent countries of global South, and they will all stick together. And as I said, the Americans have huge interest in Pakistan that I've already given out. Now look at a situation that has happened because of Operation Sindoor. And the situation is that Pakistan relations with the three great powers have warmed up. And as a consequence of that, please also understand today the world is divided into global north and global south. Global north are the industrialized nations which follow America, and the global south are the developing and less developed nation which agree to the philosophy and the thinking of another set of entirely different thinking, which is led or which is supported by China and Russia. So the point to make here is very simple, that with Pakistan having good relations with the three great nations of the world, great powers, all the other countries in global south and global north cannot be unmindful of Pakistan's risen status. So this is what needs to be kept in mind by India, because what India's foreign policy, what sort of a knock it has taken, I will explain in my video tomorrow, all because of this Operation Sindoor, which was in my assessment completely unnecessary. Thank you so much.